What's up, y'all? So, can I tell you something? There was a moment this year when I almost quit on myself. And it wasn't because I stopped believing that I was capable, not because I suddenly lost all of my experience or my education or even my vision. And I always say that's a big deal. But I almost quit because I got tired, y'all. Not the kind of tired that goes away after a good night's sleep either. I'm talking about the kind of tired that comes from carrying uncertainty for too long. The kind of tired that makes you question things that you were once very sure about, right? Maybe you've been there too. Maybe it's not because of a business. Maybe it's not because of a career. Maybe because of a marriage, a friendship, a dream, a season of motherhood. And oh my goodness, I can talk to you for days about that, but I won't, not here today. It's not what this is about. Maybe it's even about a health journey for you. Whatever it is, whatever it is, there comes a moment when the question isn't, can I do this? The question becomes, do I even want to keep trying? Come sit with me, y'all. We got to get real for a minute. Welcome back to Heal and Hustle at Home, by the way. I'm Ashley Springs. I'm an educator, mentor. I'm a full time founder now, sports mom, and a woman who's been spending a lot of years trying to lead well in more than one room. But before we go any further, can I ask y'all one small favor? If these conversations encourage you, if they help you feel a little less alone, would you please follow the podcast? Hit that follow button right now. And maybe even share this episode with someone who has quietly become the strong one for everyone else around her. And honestly, it's exactly the reason why this podcast exists anyway. But today, I don't want to teach you something. I just want to tell you a story. And as you can see, I'm wearing my basketball mom shirt and my basketball mom earrings because I'm recording this episode just minutes before I have to step out and go to my son's basketball game. By the way, if you love my basketball mom shirt and all the roles that we play as basketball moms, football moms, band moms, cheer moms, whatever mom you are, this is available on my website, definingmyway.com. Okay. Anyway, if you've been listening for the last few episodes, you know that this year has been a year of transition for me, specifically within the last several months. Because after 18 years in education, I stepped away from the role that had shaped so much of my identity outside of being a mom, right? And it not because I wanted to either, not because I hated education. I absolutely love education, still do, and always will because it's something that no one can ever take from you. I absolutely love school leaders. I love helping people solve problems, whether you're a leader, a school leader, a leader in your home, a leader in your community. It doesn't matter. I love helping people solve problems. But as decisions were made that were beyond my control, I knew that God was calling me into something different. What I didn't know, though, y'all, was how uncomfortable the space between leaving and arriving would really feel. I thought that once the decision was made, I stepped out on faith, like big time stepping out on faith, that I would just truly feel peace, confidence, y'all. And to some extent, yes, I absolutely have. It is very peaceful. Um, it is a very calming thing to be able to do. But along with all of that, instead of just peace, confidence, momentum, I have found myself sitting in uncertainty. And here's a little bit of why. I'm talking about applications, I'm talking about proposals, meetings, ideas. Oh my goodness, ideas. Waiting, and more waiting, y'all. Some opportunities that have looked promising, others have quietly just disappeared. And there were days when I would work hard for hours, and hours and still in the day wondering if any of it was actually moving me forward. And so it was one afternoon recently that I remember closing my laptop, just looking in the room and thinking to myself, what if this never works? And that thought, that feeling, that pressure, it wasn't because I didn't have a plan, because your girl, I will plan some stuff, okay? But suddenly, I couldn't see past the uncertainty. The uncertainty. I think that we celebrate brave decisions way more than we prepare for what comes after them. We applaud someone, right, for leaving the job, for starting the business, for going back to school, for setting the boundary. We clap hard for those things. Walking away from something that no longer serves them. But nobody talks about the middle. The middle, y'all. The middle. Ooh, the middle. Because the middle is where your old identity is gone, but your new life hasn't fully arrived yet. And I say yet because I have a growth mindset and it will arrive, right? It's where people assume you're excited while you're quietly wondering if you've made the biggest mistake of your life. The middle is lonely, y'all. It's lonely because nobody else can fully see exactly what you are carrying. And so it was in that same afternoon that I started asking myself questions. And I'm talking about questions like, what if I should have tried harder to figure out if I could stay? What if I'm making this harder than it needs to be? What if I was more successful because of the title than because of me? Have you ever noticed how quickly fear starts rewriting your story, y'all? Oh, that's deep. It doesn't just make you question your future. It makes you question your past. And it whispers. It whispers. And sometimes that whisper seems so loud, but it's a whisper. Maybe you're not as good as you thought. Maybe you weren't as good as people thought. Maybe you just got lucky. Maybe you finally reached a point where everyone finds out that you can't really do this. Y'all, when I tell you fear is a very convincing storyteller, it is. If you let it be. All right. That's the key. Fear is a convincing storyteller if you let it be. So, guess what, y'all? Of course, listen, nothing changed overnight. Not at all. I didn't wake up the next morning with all the answers. There wasn't one motivational quote that fixed everything. Not one. And I've seen a lot of them. Y'all seen a lot of them too. There wasn't one opportunity that suddenly erased every doubt. What changed was the question that I kept asking myself. Instead of asking, what if this doesn't work? I started asking myself, what if I am quitting 5 minutes before something changes, y'all? What if you are right there, Ashley? That question stopped me, and it keeps stopping me over and over and over. Because I realized something. Every meaningful season of my life has required me to keep walking before I could ever see where the path was leading. That's faith. That is walking by faith, y'all. Listen, when I became a teacher 18 years ago, I did not know what kind of educator I would become. And it turns out I became a good one. I got very good results, right? When I became a school leader, I didn't know who I would grow into, right? What identity would I take on? When I became a mom, there was certainly not a manual. And my kids, from the oldest down to the youngest, will remind me every single day about something that I'm doing wrong. And I will just kindly remind them that I'm learning too. Anyway, I've lived through so much uncertainty before, y'all could just write a book about it. I had just forgotten that uncertainty has always been a part of becoming her. Hmm. Because the person that you're looking at, the person that you're listening to right now had to go through a lot in order to be even standing in this place, y'all. And I know you can think of a lot of things that you have been going through as well to even be able to stand in the place that you stand right now and to be able to look back and say, dang, I made it through some stuff. Y'all, I don't actually think I wanted to quit my dream in that moment. I think what I wanted to quit was feeling uncomfortable. There's a difference. There's a really big difference. Sometimes we think that we're ready to walk away from the goal, the dreams that we had. But what we're really trying to escape, y'all, is disappointment, is waiting, is rejection, is silence, is the vulnerability of trying again tomorrow. And I wonder how many dreams have been abandoned just because we were in a season of being uncomfortable. And we were just a few minutes or a couple of days away from realizing that dream. I'm getting goosebumps right now just saying those words out loud, y'all, because y'all don't understand how deep that is. I just wonder how many dreams have truly been abandoned, not because people weren't called to them, but because the middle lasted longer than they expected, than we expected. So if you're in the middle, let's talk about it, right? Maybe your middle looks different than mine, going through so many things right now, I can't even describe it. Maybe you are trying to rebuild after a divorce, I've been there too. It wasn't easy, and it was very, very emotional. Maybe you're searching for a job. Yep, here we are. We're together. Maybe you're grieving like me, time after time, back to back. And I'm not just talking about grief from death either. Maybe you're leading a team that feels impossibly heavy because they won't do right. Maybe you're raising children while trying to remember who you are outside of being needed by everyone else. Who am I outside of this basketball mom, outside of this football mom, outside of this dance mom, this cheer mom, this mom? Who am I outside of the school principal, outside of the bank manager, outside of the team leader, the quality control checker? Who am I? Whatever your middle looks like, I hope that you hear this from me today. Just because the path feels uncertain, y'all, it doesn't mean that you're walking the wrong one. And that just brings me to tears because I am walking in this path right now and it feels so uncertain. But it doesn't mean that you are walking in the wrong one, and it doesn't mean that I am walking in the wrong one. Sometimes the hardest seasons aren't about punishment, y'all. They're preparation. What are we prepared for? I don't know, but they feel so hard. And it's not because everything happens for a reason, but because the difficult seasons truly, truly often reveal our strengths that we didn't know we needed until we are forced to use them. And that's what it's about being in the middle. That is exactly what it's about being in the middle. Don't give up, y'all. Don't give up. In the middle of all this is what I'm learning. I am learning that, I'm learning that courage doesn't always look like making the big leap. It doesn't. Sometimes courage looks like opening the laptop again tomorrow. Sometimes courage looks like sending one more proposal, having one more conversation, applying for one more opportunity. Don't give up, y'all. Sometimes it looks like recording one more podcast episode, even in the middle of the tears that you might have to wipe. Sometimes trusting that today's small steps still matters, y'all, even when today's results don't prove it yet. That's what I keep telling myself. Yet. A big capital yet. That's the courage that I'm practicing. Not dramatic courage, y'all. Quiet courage. Quiet courage. Quiet courage that nobody applauds because nobody sees it. And that's okay. I know somebody who sees it. And that's the ultimate person who will give the rewards, right? Before we leave today, I want to ask you something. Where have you been confusing uncertainty with failure? Where have you been assuming that because the outcome isn't clear, that the decision must have been wrong? Maybe, y'all, maybe, just maybe, you're not failing. You're becoming her, you're becoming him, you're becoming it. And becoming almost always feels uncertain when you are living it, while you're in the middle of it. Y'all, I just want to say thank you for letting me share a little bit more of my story today. And if you're in the middle of becoming your own becoming, I hope this episode reminds you that you're not walking through it alone. Sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is decide not to quit on yourself today. Just today, y'all. We'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow gets here. That's in the Bible. Just worry about today. We'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow gets here. But until next time, keep becoming the woman. Keep building the work. Keep stewarding and taking care of and leading in every single room that you have been entrusted with. Because healing is how you become the woman. Hustle is how you build the work. Home is how you steward every single room you have been entrusted with. Y'all, one woman, 2 rooms, 1 life. I'll see you here next week. Make sure that you follow the podcast and share this episode with somebody else who needs this, who is in the middle.